Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance.
X Insurance.
From the SIG Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum Microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now. How the heck are you? Welcome inside the SIG Sauer Studios with me, Mark Walters, filling your prescription for freedom today and every day in front of this Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center microphone here at the ranch. And it's all being brought to you by the great X Insurance. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing today, my brother?
Not too bad. Here we are.
Yeah, came quick.
Always does.
Always does. That's okay. That's okay. That's what it's all about. There are a lot of fun stuff going on out there today. Media stuff that we're going to talk about with Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. Would you tell people where to watch the program today in high definition, I guess, on all the platforms that we're on? And then we'll get cracking today and start everybody's work week here on a Monday.
Sure. If you want to watch the show on YouTube, Rumble, or Fascist Book, you will want to search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over at X. It's AAR Mark. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com. On the right-hand side of those websites, you'll see a menu icon. Just give those a click, and when that window opens up, you can select that Watch Live option. If you're driving, hit the Listen Live link, and if you missed any previous episode of this program, like last night's Monstercast, just head on over to the podcast link. If you'd like to join our live chat, all you have to do is head on over to your app store, grab the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, and Greg, we're going to be welcoming a new sponsor beginning March 1st.
Oh, sweet.
Fun stuff. So I'll keep that under wraps. Is that okay?
For now, sure.
Yeah, so if you're watching me, I have Corvette hair. I have convertible hair. Convertible hair, don't care. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. How you doing today, brother?
What's up, Mark? Happy Monday, man.
Happy Monday. I know you love cold weather, but no. The top was down in the AAR vet just a few minutes ago, you know? Had to make a quick
It's a miserable day today.
Miserable. It's beautiful and sunny and gorgeous
here. It is 73 degrees here in Kansas. It is absolutely miserable for still February.
I thought you were going to tell me it was rainy and crappy and cold, but I forgot you like that stuff. Move to Wisconsin or Minnesota, brother. You'll get your fill all day long.
I'm telling you, no. I'm going to be the ambassador to Greenland. I will be the ambassador to Greenland when Trump buys it.
Well, okay. I'm tired today. Greg, ask me how many cups of Defender coffee I had to start my day today.
Mark, how many cups of Defender coffee did you have to start your day?
None. I didn't go, and I went to Racetrack and picked up a coffee just a few minutes ago at Racetrack while I was out. I did not feel like having any hot coffee today. I just couldn't do it. So I'm double-fisting a sugar-free Red Bull and a coffee, and the reason I'm doing that is because I got the Red Bull out, and I forgot I had the coffee here. Yeah, well, here it is. So hold on. Let's get the day started, Andy. So, Andy, there's great media news out over the last couple of days. Yeah. Joy Reid out. Fired. Right. Blank can.
Done.
Poop can at MSDNC. And I put a tweet out about that last night. And, I mean, within an hour, it had like 15,000 views or something stupid already. People are over these folks, Andy. What does that mean when MSDNC gets rid of her?
There's a lot of them. I mean, I think Rachel Maddow's like the only one left there with all the upsets and resets that they're doing. Yeah, that means that they're starting to realize if they're going to stay in business, if they're going to survive, they have to make some changes. Now, look, there's a couple different angles that we can take at this. Number one, the ratings that are just completely non-existent that they've tried to hype up for really long. We've had to look the other way, put the blinders on. It's not a big deal. These aren't the droids you're looking for. You know, that's why they tried to put that wool over our eyes for a long time, saying that everything's just fine. And it's not working any longer. And we can tell that by them spreading the rhetoric they did for the election, people not buying that rhetoric, and then electing Donald Trump in a larger fashion than what we saw in 2016. So they had to do a reset there. At the same time, these individuals, even with the small ratings they had, were making tens of millions of dollars. And with the small ratings, you can't justify that type of sponsorship on a network like that any longer. And let's look at something like RFK Jr., who's about ready to end advertising from pharmaceutical companies that are essentially hyping up and keeping these networks alive. If they lose that revenue stream, they're done. They'd go bankrupt in a day. So, yeah, this is a reset of the entire mainstream media. It's fun to watch. I don't know what the hosts are going to look like coming out I think they're going to try or attempt to, and I say this in air quotes, but they're going to attempt to go further to the middle and try and report things a little bit better than what they have been. We'll see if it actually works or not.
Can MSDNC go to the middle? I mean, this is laughable.
I don't think so. I don't know. It is laughable, but who knows?
I have to ask you, does Joy Reid believe what comes out of her mouth, or is it just a ploy for millions? I mean, when I look at Joy Reid, I find it hard to believe that she makes millions, but she did.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's made enough money. She don't ever have to work another day again. Right?
Right.
So maybe she's just, living somewhere fun, But I often wonder, these people believe, like, does Adam Schiff believe what comes out of his mouth? Does Swalwell believe what he puts out in tweets? Or is it just a talking point now because they got nothing? Trump is moving at such breakneck speed, Andy, at such breakneck speed that they are rocked constantly. They put one tweet out and something else is hitting them in the face. They just can't get caught up. And I have a sneaky feeling that this is the way the 4 years is going to go. Man's not going to slow down. He's on a mission to save this country, and he means it.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. I will distinguish, however, between the two that you mentioned. I will distinguish between an Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell and someone like Joy Reid in the mainstream media. I believe that the media people like Joy Reid, I truly believe they honestly believe everything that comes out of their mouth. I think with the limited information they get, with the tunnel vision that they're in, I truly believe they believe everything they say, and that shows how out of touch they really are. The elected officials, I believe it's a game to them for their own personal gain, and they don't care what they say. And even if they know that it's wrong, I think they say it with the intention, even knowing that it's wrong, just to get people riled up in the media to promote that, because it's a political gain for them and to sabotage their political opponents. So I think there's two different things going on there.
All right. Well, I will have a lot more respect for a Joy Reid than I have for a politician. If I take you at face value, right now, obviously this is a discussion.
I think she's low IQ enough that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not pointing this to you. I'm putting this in the context of a conversation for everybody. Okay, not you specifically. I'm just responding to what you said. But if I take you at face value here, based on what you said, I have more respect for Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow and the rest, if in fact they truly believe what they're saying. That's what they believe. Okay, and you can believe what you want in America, and you can say what you want in America. I have no problem with that, none whatsoever. Believe me, you should see some of the Facebook messages I've been getting. Oh, man. The hate coming from good heavens. Yeah, okay. So, big deal. I couldn't care less. But I always love the fact they're cowards. They throw this nonsense at you, and they hit you hard, threaten you, and then they block you so you can't respond, which I wouldn't do anyway. But that's just cowardice. Now, when it comes to a politician, on the other hand, what kind of person is that knows what they're doing is BS, that knows it's wrong, that knows it's gaslighting, that they know they're lying to their constituents and to the rest of America? What kind of person looks at a camera? And I've used this example a lot. These people will look at a camera at midnight and tell you the sun is shining. What kind of person is that?
Right. Yeah.
Can they ever be trusted in any facet of their lives?
Yeah. No, it's a great point. I think there's two bits of, I guess you want to call it mental health issue or whatever going on here, because you're right. What kind of person can sit there and lie to your face? That would be called narcissism, and that would be called an egomaniac. And that's what these politicians are, that are out there to truly do nothing more than just sabotage Donald Trump and the Republican agenda. I don't, however, even though, I may say that the mainstream media, these individuals may truly believe what they are saying, they have the right to say it if they believe it. But as a journalist, and I say that very loosely in air quotes, as a journalist, it's their duty to look at both sides of the aisle and then to be able to report them and come into a situation maybe a little bit more on a moderate side, or at least understand what's a lie and propaganda and what's actually true, to not go on there like Rachel Maddow did so many times, be like, oh, I have right here Donald Trump's tax returns, and this is the number right here. Or, oh, look at this, Elon Musk and Donald Trump just purchased $400 million of Doge, trucks for the military or for government officials or whatever. And look at that. They're just rubbing each other's backs, knowing that that's factually untrue. So either she's stupid and didn't realize that, or she was just taking the talking points from the Democrats that lied about it because they were promoting an agenda.
A combination of both.
To do better. Yeah, so they have to do better. And I don't feel better for them in any way, shape, or form, because if they're spreading the lie, whether they know it or not, as an individual that's in the public face, they should know better to look at a little bit deeper before they run with it for a political agenda.
They don't care. Yeah, like so when an Eric Swalwell says, nobody wants to take your guns. Guys, you can't believe one word comes out of that. You can't believe one word that comes out of Fang boyfriend's mouth, you know? They're just evil people. They're just evil people. When we come back, we've got another one that we're going to go after, media personality. There are certain words don't belong together in sentences. Career and politician is a pair of words that don't belong together in sentences. And media personality, or excuse me, news personality. Those two words, news and personality, do not belong together in the same sentence. And that's been part of the problem for a long time. And when we come back, who's out as well? This broke this afternoon, too. We'll talk about it. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense will be back right after the break.
Yeah, it's obviously on the hold screen right now.
Guys, Mike is live right now for you guys. I understand there's like a Alvin and the Chipmunk thing going on with the audio at YouTube, Rumble. Don't know if it's the same at Armed American Radio. Here's what I can tell you. It's not coming from us. What's coming from us is going out to radio stations around the country, and that audio is fine. It should be fine on Listen Live as well. And if it's like that on X, let us know. But again, that's out of our control. That's production software somewhere, and it is not coming from here. That did happen once before. When I pulled up some recordings, I noticed it, and there was nothing I could do to correct that. So it's likely coming from the production software. Fortunately, it's not a common occurrence, but there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, not from this end. But let us know in the chat if you would, if it's also that way on X. I obviously can't listen to it while I'm doing the show. I could, but then that would really suck, and you guys would get a loop back, and that's no fun.
Yeah, on X.
I obviously can't listen to it while I'm doing it. It is on X too?
This is X right now.
But then that would really suck, and you guys would get a loop back, and that's no fun. You know, if I cut the stream and try it again, I'm going to lose.
No one's going to be happy regardless.
I'll lose Facebook and YouTube and Rumble.
Yeah, that's definitely a Riverside thing. But it is coming from your studio. It's just your Riverside's doing something.
Yeah, I'm going to cut the stream.
All right.
And guys, I'm going to cut the stream off, and we'll be back on X. I think we'll lose YouTube and Rumble and Facebook, but too bad. Let's just try it.
30.
All right, so I just stopped the stream. And let's go live again. 4, 3. The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit Patriot
patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show indeed. So those of you that are watching the stream, I understand that you got a little Alvin and the Chipmunk thing going on some of the social media platforms. We stopped the stream and put it back up for you. It likely didn't pop back up or populate on a couple of the other ones, but it should be up on X. Don't know if it's still doing it or not. It's not coming from me. This is a radio signal. It's not coming to the radio stations like that, so I have no idea why it's like that. Maybe social media just doesn't like us. Maybe they're picking on us a little bit, Greg. So,
yeah, who knows?
If you were watching on Facebook or YouTube or Rumble or anywhere else, it's probably not back on right now, but it is on X if you want to watch us, at AAR Mark on Twitter. And you get a kick out of it. If we sound like that, we sound like that. So if you're in the chat, let us know. We'll monitor that. I'm curious myself. But after all, Greg, this is a radio show. Let's not forget that. It is a radio show. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason.
I thought it was a podcast.
Why are there so many commercials in that podcast? You know how many times I've answered that question? Why is there so many breaks in that podcast? Because it's not a podcast. It's an actual live radio show being heard on dozens and dozens of radio stations around the nation. So people got, okay. Well, the podcast, the new podcast, Unhinged and Unholstered with Mark Walters, will be coming up.
You know what's wild about that, Mark? Sorry, just to
go ahead.
Go off on that whole thing. But you know what's really funny about it is that nowadays, even if you are a talk radio host, you're just labeled as a podcaster from now on, which is so weird to me. The post that Donald Trump made on Sunday night about Dan Bongino, that's now becoming apparently the deputy
director of the FBI.
Deputy director for the FBI. Yeah, I think under Kash Patel. Even Donald Trump called Dan Bongino a podcaster, which he is, but he also hosts one of the biggest, talk shows in the country on radio. But Donald Trump, even in his tweet, calls him a podcaster. So, like nowadays, apparently, if you just talk in front of a microphone, whether on the radio or a podcast, you're just a podcaster, and we just have to accept it.
Okay, we'll accept it.
Okay.
What does podcast even mean?
I don't know.
Don't steal my thunder, because we're going to go to Bongino in a minute. Andy's always ripping off my thunder. Gotta love Mondays. Great minds think alike. All right, so there's a welcome back, by the way, guys, to the 6 Sauer Studios. Patriot Mobile, Mike X and shirt. All of our partners, find them all at armedamericanradio.com. And we have a new one coming out on March 1st, and you're going to love it. So just stay tuned. I'll let you know who that is in just about a few days. So, Andy, Lester Holt is out over at NBC News. NBC. Now, I love this because I absolutely hate news anchors. I can't stand them. Not all of them. Most of them. The whole smarmy back and forth nonsense. But really, I'm referring to these big network news anchors that these guys just think they're the ultimate authority figure for disseminating the news. David Muir is a prime example of someone. I can't stand the guy. All right. Maybe he's a really nice guy. Maybe he'd be fun to drink a beer with, or a Manhattan, or something like that. Probably. Or an old fashioned. Maybe he is. I don't know. I've never met the man. But this whole news thing, this whole I'm the authority figure thing, kills me. These people become personalities and make millions of dollars for doing what? Basically lying to the American public. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe that by now, you're just a lost cause. It's a fact.
You have a bridge to sell them.
Yeah, they've been screwing you over for years, gaslighting you for years, lies of omission, biased reporting. But there's a way to fix that. Just get them out of the chair. And, look how many NBC affiliates there are, television affiliates there are around the country, right? So grab one of their local anchors and let them sit in New York for 5 days, Monday through Friday, and do the news, give them their big break, and then send them back to their local affiliate and just rotate these people out. Now you don't have news personalities. Now you don't have people making millions and millions of dollars a year. Now you don't have people getting caught up in this egomaniacal trip that they're somehow the authority on everything because I'm David Muir and I sit at the desk. You could eliminate all of that. You could probably wipe out a ton of bias in the process, Andy. But no. But anyway, Lester Holt, he's out. I don't care what the excuse is. There's something going on in mainstream media. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. They're toast. Nobody believes in
the Trump effect.
The Trump effect.
Yeah.
They're never, ever, ever going to regain the trust in the American people unless they make a massive shift in their business model. And I don't know how they're going to do it. They've been so into this single, network anchor since television was invented. And you go back to the day with Walter Cronkite, who was the most trusted man in America. I'm Walter Cronkite. But I will give him this. He came out as a flaming liberal years later. But for the most part, he just delivered news. He would say, Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon today at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And then he would go to another story. He didn't go into what they were wearing. He didn't go to some goofy reporter somewhere who made up a bunch of crap, a bunch of speculation. He just delivered the news for the most part. And we haven't seen that in this country since. These people, I don't know what kind of shift they make in their business model to fix their problems, but they're toast. And they're dropping like flies. What do you think is up? Or could it be just coincidence?
Well, I think it is. I think it is the Trump effect, and I think that people have caught on and just don't believe it, and it's forcing them to change their ways. And look, I hope it is for the better. I hope we can get some more information. But look, at the same time, with the way that media has expanded, you could do the same reporting with a couple $100 of equipment in your basement and stream it online and have better content than what you do in a multi-million-dollar TV studio for MSNBC and CNN and so on and so forth. So, media is changing to where they don't have the dominance. And now they're getting called out and exposed for the lack of transparency on the content that they were doing because so many people can do that. So that's good news for us. We're getting freedom back. But if they're going to establish themselves again, they're going to have to find a way to stay with the times. I mean, you and I talk about it before, talk radio, the same thing. How do we stay up with the times with podcasting, with online? And how do you, keep an industry going, even though I don't see AM talk radio ever going away because it is to the date, what's going on at that time. And people are always going to want that. Even if your internet goes out, you can still get an AM radio. To TV, they're going to have to change the way they do things, and just covering it just because it's breaking, they're going to have to go back to this is what's going on, period, end of story, move on to the next issue, instead of spending 20 minutes with a psychologist about why Donald Trump is some kind of, rapist or something. I don't know, because that's what they like to do. So they have a lot of changing to do, and we'll see what it forms into.
I don't know that they're capable of fixing the problem.
I don't know that they are either.
I don't think they can fix the problem. You know what? They could.
I hope they do, though. I am optimistic, and I want them to. Look, just like I've said before, I want the Democrat Party to come out of their identity crisis right now fixed as well, because that would be beneficial to the country. Either they destroy themselves and they're irrelevant, or they come back to the table and actually converse in a rational manner. That's good for the country either way.
What's good for the country is that everybody thinks like me. That's good for the country. Is everybody thinks like me and agrees with me. Now, my kid earlier today said, I told him I was going to take the vet out, get the top down, go take it, get it washed a little bit. And so he said, hey, can you run up McDonald's, get me a double cheeseburger with extra onions and no pickles? You know what I like. I said, yeah. So I did. And it was a white Dodge Ram. This is rare sight around here. White Dodge Ram pickup in front of me. Not a rare sight. I have a white Dodge Ram 4x4 pickup. But not with the stickers that this guy had. This guy's back left of his bumper said, regulate guns, not women's bodies. On the far right of the bumper, it said, Harris Waltz. And then in the middle of the bumper, above the license plate, or right below the license plate, it said, turn Cherokee blue. Yeah, dude, you might want to peel that stuff off. That's an utter embarrassment where we live. I'll be back with Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason. We'll continue to rag the media, talk about some gun stuff on a Monday. We'll be right back. Yeah, so it's back up on Twitter, back up on Facebook. I think it's back up on YouTube as well. I don't know. But yeah, I'm still doing it. So, guys, I have no idea what's up. Just enjoy it and roll with it. Why not, right? But it looks like we're back up on YouTube as well, too. So just roll with it. I can't help it. I guess it happens from time to time. It happens. We're not trying to talk like Alvin the Chipmunk, guys, but it's funny. I did kick up the volume a little bit, Greg, and listen to Andy talk like Alvin for a second. Sound like you're sucking on a helium balloon. Oh, well, it is what it is. It's Monday, par for the course. We're going to cut the mics for a second, guys.
another 20 seconds of it.
Okay.
So.
All right, good. Let's do it.
Daniel Defense firearms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Yes, freedom, passion, and precision. Something the Democrats know nothing about. Welcome back to the 6 Hour Studios. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today and every day. We're having fun with the chipmunk thing going on the video, so enjoy that, guys. We're not sucking on helium balloons, but it sounds pretty funny. Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason, welcome back in on a Monday, man. I'm sorry your weather is sunny and beautiful and that you don't like it. How you doing?
I don't mind it when it's like summertime, but it's February. I still want it to be 30 degrees out. Come on, man.
Well, you're just a funny kind of guy. So, back to media before. Now, we've got a clip. Greg found a clip. Greg, you want to set the clip up? Well, not yet. Just tell us what it's about real quick, and then we'll wrap up on media and then go to that clip because it runs about 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's a 3-minute clip, and it's essentially a German citizen that is speaking about firearms ownership and possession in the country of Germany and comparing it to the U.S.
Kind of interesting because the IWA show kicks off in Germany this week, officially. So we'll play that and kind of break it down for you. It's rather interesting, and well, I think you'll find it interesting. We did, but Andy, back to media quickly. Are they done? Are they done as we've known it? Our adult lives. Is media as we've known it done? And I mean mainstream, televised, Lester Holt, David Muir, what's her face, Martha Raddatz. Are these people toast? Are they done? Are they aged out? Have Americans are younger generations going to watch these people and trust anything that comes from them anymore? I don't think so.
No, I really don't think so. No, I think that the future is going to be alternative media. I think it's going to be radio shows because I don't think radio is going to go anywhere. Look, I mean, if something's breaking, AM talk radio is still where to go, where people talk about the issues happening at that moment. And, when you listen to someone like talk radio that, you're getting an opinion as well as some of the facts as well at the same time. So, you already go into it with that notion. With the media itself, with the mainstream, when you go and flip on that channel, you're expecting to get just nonpartisan, non-biased, straight news. And that's what they've tried to sell us for so long. And yet that doesn't work anymore. So, yeah, I think that is dead. I don't know how you come back from something like that. And we're going to see what the adaptation looks like moving forward.
I think they're done. They're not, ABC's not going away. NBC's not going away. CBS not going away. CNN and MSDNC, I don't know. Now, I saw a poll from CPAC, but you would expect the poll to be this way. Newsmax is the most trusted news source, according to CPAC participants over the past week, which is not shocking to me at all because it's CPAC. Mm-hmm. If there were a couple national polls, you might find Fox or something like that, but you're going to find Newsmax right up there with them. CNN, MSDNC, finished, done. I think, do they recover from that? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't want to say I hope not, but I wouldn't miss them if they were gone. I certainly wouldn't miss them at all. So we'll leave it at that, guys. You make up your own mind. And we're all going to find out because it's happening in real time as we sit here and speak with Joy Reid and Lester Holt out now. I don't know that David Muir holds on to his seat any longer. That debate debacle with Biden, fact-checking Trump, none of that ages well for these folks. Their credibility is literally swirling down the toilet.
Leslie Stahl as well.
Leslie Stahl. It's just, 60 Minutes. Who believes this nonsense anymore? Okay? Did you believe it when Mike Wallace was running it and the rest of them? Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I mean, I'm at a point now. One of my favorite actors of all time used to be Robert De Niro. And I just can't watch him anymore. He's got a series up. I think it's on Netflix called 0 Day or something.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
sounds
I saw
like,
that.
I mean, it sounds like it's right up my alley, right? I tried to watch it, and I can't watch the guy. All I can see is him cussing me out because I support Donald Trump. And he's pure anger. I did watch a little bit of it. The president, he's the former president, and the current president in the series is a black woman. Okay? It's just, you get where I'm going with this. It's DEI TV. Everything that these people touch is just DEI TV. Unbelievable. Yeah. But anyway, let's kick it over to Germany. This is an interesting tape. Let's take a listen to this. Now, the IWA show, which is basically the European version of the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show here. It's not near as big, but it is going down in Germany. I have a lot of friends that are going to be there this week. AWR Hawkins will be there. Virtually all of our partners in some form will have representation there. You heard, if you were listening last night, Kahr Arms. Old Frank Harris from Kahr Arms is going to be there. So they're all represented. But let's take a listen to this tape. What's your name, Greg? Greg.
Yeah.
Greg, it's a Monday. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Go ahead and start this. Let's take a listen to this. I'll let it play through without interrupting it. Go for it.
All right, sure.
Here's a question for Americans and American gun owners. How would you feel if the U.S. had gun laws and regulations like Germany's? What are they and how are they different? Well, to get a gun in Germany, you need to get a firearms permit, or a Waffenbesitzkarte. And to get that, you need to fulfill all 5 of these requirements. Number 1. Like in the US, you have to be 18 years old in Germany, but there is a catch that we're going to see later. So in the US, you can buy a gun before you can buy a beer, and in Germany, it's the opposite. Number 2, this one also has parallels with laws in the US. People with a criminal record, so convicted felons, cannot own or buy guns. But in Germany, also breaking a rule, for example, the safe storage regulation, can result in you losing your firearms permit and therefore your gun. In Germany, you are required to store your gun in a safe, and you have to store the ammunition separately. How do you enforce that? Well, you can already lose your firearms permit if you don't do that, and also important, if someone else steals your gun or misuses it in any way, you, the owner of that gun, are responsible, which means you want to store it in that safe. Number 3. Only someone who is mentally and physically capable of handling a firearm is eligible to receive a firearms permit. And people under 25 also have to get a psychological evaluation. And people with a history of substance abuse or mental illness can be denied. Number 4. You have to take a training and safety course, and you have to pass an examination, similar to how you would get a driver's license. And number 5. Germany does not have a Second Amendment. In Germany, you need to have a valid reason to own a gun. Now, this typically means it's for some sort of recreational activity, like you're a member of a sports shooting club, you are a hunter, or you are a collector. And generally, to be a member of some sort of sports shooting association, you have to be 21 years old, which generally means that most people can't get a gun until they're 21, not 18. But what about self-defense? Is that a valid reason for anyone to get a firearms permit? For the vast majority of people, no. For only some people, for example, people whose jobs are dangerous, like police officers, soldiers, security personnel, they can apply for what is called a Waffenschein, which is a carry permit. That is different from a Waffenbesitzkarte, which is a firearms permit or firearms possession permit. To get the carry permit, you have to be able to prove that you are in greater danger than the average person and that having a firearm will reduce your risk of harm. And if you don't have the carry permit but have the standard firearms permit, which is most gun owners, then you have to transport your gun in a safe, unloaded, when you go to the shooting range or hunting area. So for most gun owners, there is no open or concealed carry. So what effect does all of this have on gun deaths per capita in Germany? Well, the homicide rate by firearm is considerably lower in Germany than in the US. The suicide rate by firearm in Germany is much lower than in the US. And overall, the death by firearm rate is 12 times higher in the US than in Germany. But what about the overall homicide and suicide rates? Do Germans just use other weapons like knives to murder and take their own lives? Well, the overall suicide rate is higher in the US, and the overall homicide rate is about 5 times higher in the US than in Germany. So, Germany's strict gun laws prove that gun control works and that it saves lives. So, Americans, what do you think? Which gun laws and regulations would you feel okay with?
I'll stick with mine. A lot of garbage going on in there. But what I found really fascinating was will reduce your risk of harm by owning a firearm. So if you're a security personnel, if you're a cop, if you have actual threats against you, having a gun, they just told you, would actually reduce your risk of harm. That doesn't apply to the average Joe Blow. Now, this is a liberal talking point all the way across the board. And it sounds very similar to everything the Democrats want in blue states across the country. So if you live behind the blue wall, well, they want you to have a Waffenschein. Not a Waffenschein, but a Waffenschein, which I guess is your permit to, he said that was permit to carry. And one more thing before we go to a break. That cat didn't sound too German to me. I don't know where he sounded like he was from, but he didn't sound like he was from, Berlin or Dusseldorf or Frankfurt or something like that.
They can learn English in other.
He didn't have the German
facilities.
thing going on. He didn't have that thing going on. I have a friend of mine whose father is born and raised in Germany. He sounds like he's born and raised in Germany.
Funny.
Whatever. It's just an observation. When we come back, we'll go to Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason, right after the break in 4 minutes, because this is a radio program, not a podcast. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
Alvin and the Chipmunks back at you with SIG SAUER Studios. Mark Walters in front of the Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center microphones, all being brought to you by the great X Insurance. Guys, I've seen a lot of you have been looking into the Patriots Relief. That stuff works. Try it if you haven't. If you wake up with any pain in the morning, like I do, my arms. I had surgery on my arm. Greg remembers that. Man, I was in a cast for like a month and a half for that thing.
Oh, yeah.
That sucked. That was bad news. But I had to get a nerve replaced, and I didn't know I was going to have to get it done. I said, how am I going to know if you had to do the nerve? He goes, well, if you wake up in a cast, we had to do the nerve. I woke up in a cast. Go figure. He said, only about 10% of people do. Well, you're looking at the 10%. But that stuff, ladies and gentlemen, ever since I've had that surgery, I wake up with some, I kind of like you wake up and you got to work it out. You know what I mean? Stretch it out and all. But this stuff works, and it works immediately. So if it works for me, it will likely work for you too. It might not work for everybody, but give it a try. It's patriotsrelief.com, patriotsrelief.com. Use the AAR promo code when you check out, and I think you get up to 40% off on those products over there. And as far as the sleep stuff goes, with the CBD stuff, works like a champ for me. So if you haven't done it yet, give it a try. It might change your life. It did mine, and it works within 60 seconds for me. It will likely work for you as well. If not, hey, you gave it a shot, right? It's pretty much that simple. All right, Andy, welcome back, brother. So Germany, you heard the not-so-German-sounding guy obviously touting gun control in the United States. Now, there's a lot going on, Andy. The United States is a far bigger country with 150 to 250 million more people in it than Germany. He didn't give any crime statistics. John Lott would have a field day with that. We don't have time to go into that. We might bring him on this week to talk about that too, by the way, Greg. Let's make a note of that because that would be interesting. But Andy,
someone call the ambulance.
Andy, you okay over there? That's not for you.
Yeah,
is it?
sorry. No, we had the door open here at the studio because again, it's so flipping hot out. We're trying to get some air going here, and they of course had to drive that by us. So we're good. We're all good.
What's the temperature again?
It's 73 degrees.
That's not
77,
flipping
man. This
hot.
is ridiculous.
That's not flipping hot. That's nothing.
Hold up, but what's being missed here is the flyover country radio station whose AC is probably down as well, and everything else in the building is just blazing hot. Oh, that's true. Yes. Oh man, that's a small time.
Yeah, our AC is out right now, so yeah, we are working on that. And yeah, while it's 77 outside, it's probably like 85 inside with all the computers and technology.
You're taking me back, Andy. I remember those days.
Well, when you sit in front of all the lights and the hot stuff that we have, it does get hot in here. There's no question about it. Especially when you can hear the hum of my guitar amplifiers in the background. Because as soon as I get off the air, I'm gonna rip that again.
That's right.
Anyway, Andy, talk about the gun control stuff. Would you? What you heard from the German dude who sounds so German?
Well, look, I'm glad I don't have to register the Wiener Schnitzel. So I mean that's good news. And look,
we're all glad you don't have to register the Wiener Schnitzel. I'm
you make
pretty
that
sure
joke
about
again,
that.
and you might have to. The police will be down there as bad as that was.
Yeah, that's right. They'll be coming for this, coming for the studio here. Look, I mean, outside of the blatant absence of the Second Amendment, where we have the right to keep and carry a firearm, pure end of story, period. There's no, addendums behind that, according to Joe Biden. That's what we have. We have the right. And like you said, it was hypocritical for them to say you have to justify the fact that you are in more threat than someone else, which is why you have the right to actually carry a firearm, concealed and actually have that on you, admitting to the fact that carrying a firearm makes you more safe because you have a firearm on you and you can actually stop a bad guy, as opposed to law enforcement that's trying to just do the autopsy afterwards. So that should just be basic for anyone that wants to carry a firearm, because you have the right to do so. And if your life is in danger, whether it's from someone who's stalking you, whether it's from a crazy person that wants to come after you because of a personal vendetta, or whether it's just a random psychotic crazy person that just wants to cause as much harm in the community and in your surrounding, you have the right, or should have the God-given natural rights of the universe for you to stop that from happening and for your life to be taken from you, without your choice. So that right there is a proof positive that they don't know what they're doing. And while they say that, the gun rates and the crime rates are lower than the United States, I mean, obviously, you've mentioned it so many times before, that's easily debunkable based on the population size and the large cities and ironically where all the gun regulations actually are across the nation. So It's laughable. I mean, if it works for Germany, cool. At the same time, that's not how it works for us. And everybody should have the right to defend themselves. And they openly admit that you're safer when you have that firearm. And it's stupid that they try to restrict it and just pass so many pieces of red tape and regulation to make that as difficult as possible.
And this might not be politically correct for me to say, but I've never been politically correct. But the United States has saved the world from Germans with guns twice that I can recall. Oh, maybe they can't be trusted with guns. I don't know. There's that World War I and that World War II thing.
Whole other discussion.
Yeah, that is a whole other radio show. We don't have time for.
Though. No, real quick. Let's go back to that for just a moment, right? Because who was able to internally within the nation of Germany, who was able to rise up and fight back because there were no firearms there? I mean, it didn't happen. And the only ones they did, they had to smuggle firearms in within the Jewish communities and within the ghettos to try and fight back because it was extremely difficult because no one was capable of actually fighting when the government usurped its authority and tried to take over everybody. And that's what happens when you have a firearmless society that cannot defend themselves against the government that decides to go rogue like that. So that's only another proof positive of why it's so important for us to have a firearm.
Yeah, and I want to point out as well, too, that Germans do have a God-given right to defend themselves with a firearm.
Yes.
The fact it's not recognized by their government does not take away a God-given right. You have a God-given right to protect your life. They don't recognize the firearm as a tool to do that. Therefore, it's regulated. Therefore, it's a privilege. They treat it as a privilege. But it's a human right to be able to defend yourself with a firearm. Thank God that it's a recognized right here in this country. And ladies and gentlemen, many of you listening to the program might be new to the show. I used a firearm to defend myself in 2002 on November 18th, and I never had to fire a shot. Thank God I had the gun with me when I did. So, this is an argument that I'll have with anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. I don't care of their political persuasion means nothing to me. I know lots of Democrats that own guns, and that's a great thing. Don't get me wrong. We defend your right. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what your political persuasion is. What matters is that you pull the lever for people while you claim to be a gun rights activist. In my book, you're no gun rights activist. You're just a liberal Democrat that owns guns, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But every single human being on earth has a right to defend their life, period, from a threat. And they did, flat out admit it. I don't even think this guy figured it out, the German guy that wasn't so German, or didn't sound so German, that they can prove will reduce your risk of harm. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, they're going down that road again. We just played an audio clip last week of German lawyers that are imprisoning people because of hate speech that you post on social media. What they deem as hate speech, they're imprisoning individuals. Right. And the media, to tie it all in with the media conversation we had before, is arguing that the free speech that Elon Musk is promoting is the Nazism. The censorship of free speech is what's keeping society together, and they're supporting the German country, throwing people in prison for speaking out and having their opinion that may be considered hate speech in the nation, while we're the oppressors and the authoritarians by allowing people to say what they want to.
Andy, tell people where they can find you right after this program, because you're going live next for 2 hours.
Yeah, you bet. HoosierReason.com. Go check it out. We got a lot of good stuff going on, and always pleasure to talk to you on a Monday, Mark.
Always fun to have you here on a Monday, Andy on a Monday. It's on a Monday. Andy Hoosier. It is a Monday. What can I tell you? And if you're listening to us talk like chipmunks, hey, I apologize, but I hope you had fun with it.
Funny.
That likely will not happen again tomorrow. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is going to get up and do it again tomorrow because they don't want us to. That's why we're here. I'm going to see if we can bring John Lott in to talk a little bit about that tape. We might play that again for Dr. Lott, who knows a little bit about the research. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
You've just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by X Insurance. X Insurance on the Armed American Radio Network.